Why is the EU suddenly making it more expensive for you to buy cheap stuff online from Chinese websites? Is this more money for politicians in Brussels? I think probably not. So historically, you could import cheap packages from outside the EU, less than €150 without paying any customs. But the problem is this was seriously exploited by Chinese e-commerce platforms, so like Temu, AliExpress, and Shein as well. For instance, in 2025 alone, something like 5.6 billion worth of cheap packages were sent into the EU for European customers. This is part of a broader trend where the EU are increasingly worried about China, which has access to huge economies of scale, and they're obviously using unfair trade practices on the EU where they're dumping their overproduction into the European market. Now, it's also undermining European electric car makers. So, for instance, even Volkswagen laid off a significant number of their staff because obviously these cheap cars such as BYD are coming in from China, and we're increasingly buying them, European customers. So for instance, in Ireland, you can see more and more BYD on the road. Realistically, this is a light touch trade policy. So the European Union is very cautious at the moment. It doesn't want to escalate into a full-scale trade war. Europe are seriously worried about the Chinese chokehold here, which is rare earths. So something like 100%, I think, actually, of refined rare earths like permanent magnets coming into the EU are coming from China. So this is a huge strategic dependence from the EU on China. And obviously China can use this as a chokehold, and it can seriously disrupt European manufacturing. And it's proven it's willing to do this. It used this against the US in 2025 when Donald Trump slapped 100% or 150% tariff on the Chinese. They responded by actually reducing these exports of rare earths. So the Chinese have known this for a long time, that rare earths are a serious leverage point for them. It's basically their version of oil. So Deng Xiaoping, the paramount leader of China, actually identified this. He said rare earths are China's oil. Obviously, the modern economy is increasingly dependent on these refined rare earths, especially permanent magnets for producing things like electric vehicles. Even old combustible cars depend on these permanent magnets and refined earth technologies.